Four questions like conflict avoidance.
ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು Yeah, welcome back. So we will continue. Next topic is about approach, avoidance, conflict. So with the same aspect, you will be having one positive valence and one negative valence. So as Sirisha ji expressed earlier, like, with one decision making, they will have one positive effect, the other one would be one negative effect. If at all you are going to buy a car, then what is the positive balance? Like, you had one prestige factor for that, and again, you have to, your expenditure will increase towards it. So one goal, by taking up on that goal, achieving that one goal, you will have a positive balance and a negative balance. That is called as approach avoidance. You can take example of marriage. Once we get, like, we get into a married relationship, there are positive aspects of it and negative aspects of it. Positive aspects is love, care, and we have our own family. Negative aspect could be like, we lose our freedom and we are committed to someone else. So in this way, for the same goal, if at all a person has both positive and negative aspects, then that is called as approach avoidance conflict.
Approach avoidance conflict.
Yes. So now you tell me, what could be one approach avoidance conflict in your life? One approach avoidance conflict in your life. Think deeply. Most of this work-life balance arises because of that only. As a mother, we choose a job. We will have our independency, financial security, and all aspects, but we miss that sharing of love towards the kid, or like, proper upbringing of them and the dedication of time towards them. So that could be approach avoidance conflict, like, taking up a job, establishing a profession. So in the same way, think about other aspects. Everyone might have undergone in one or the other state, except marriage, come up with some other aspect. Approach avoidance. You got a promotion, then your dignity, your value, everything has increased. At the same time, what is happening? The responsibilities, with responsibilities, you're overburdened and you need to dedicate more time. You will lose more of your personal time also. So here also, what is happening once you get a promotion, it is also having approach avoidance conflict. So people will be thinking, mostly in government jobs, what happens, you know, whenever they get a promotion, they'll be transferred. So you don't know whether to take a promotion or not. That is a conflict state, because with promotion, your increment in salary is happening. At the same time, you are getting transferred to another place where you will be away from your family. So think in such a way, what could be a approach avoidance conflict in your life, and make note of that.
Ma'am.
Sir, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Sir, please tell.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sir, tell. Sir, I can't hear you actually. Please stop. Others, can you kindly mute yourself? Okay, I'm moving to the next topic. That is multi-approach avoidance conflict. So here the thing is, like, you know, what is happening earlier in approach to avoidance conflict, it was with one goal. It was with one goal. But in multi-approach avoidance conflict, you will be having multiple goals. See, I'll come. Earlier we thought, like, you know, we need to buy a car, but buying a car, we have one plus and one minus, right? Now, buying a car is good. Aspect is keeping it aside. We have multiple options of cars. Multiple approaches are there, multiple avoidances are there. So you have multiple options. What happens automatically? The negative balances also increase. So what happens, like, you know, if at all you buy Maruti, this is the aspect. If at all you buy BMW, this is the aspect. So for every goal, you will have one positive, one negative, one positive, one negative. So here we are dealing with multi-approach and avoidance conflicts. So at the same time, you are thinking about multiple options and you are unable to make a choice, then again, that is a conflict state. Usually in life, this happens when you finish your 10th, when you finish your degree and entering into a job, you have multiple openings, you don't know which job to choose. Everyone will have their own plus point and their minus point. And after 10th, you'll be in a crossroad, like, you know, choosing your intermediate. Okay, that starts your journey. So you have 4 groups, everything has their own journey. So this kind of multi-approach and avoidance conflict is a state which happens between multiple goals when the choice comes and we are unable to take the choice between them. So what was such conflict in your life? Usually it happened, if at all I need to state an example, it happened with me to choose my profession, to become a psychologist or to become just a trainer or to go to a HR company and join. Everything has its own plus points. One is secured, one is business. And the other aspect could be like, you know, one thing I don't owe any responsibility. I can take leaves and I can work out the other thing which I need to take in a responsibility. My own business, like, you know, it grows only when I work day and night. Right? When the company, if at all I'm out of company, I'm out of my work. I can be relaxed and play. I need not bother about it. So everything, so job, personal profession, or what you want to. So this is a multi-approach and avoidance conflict. Everything has their own plus and minus, but what you decide where you get stuck, from there we need to move ahead. So decide in your lives where you got stuck with this particular kind of conflict. Done. So now comes.
Can I share one more example here?
Yeah, please.
Okay, see what happened. This multi-approach avoidance conflict. See, generally in companies, many companies, by December 31st, employees should clear their leaves, as per the leave policy. There is a 3 types of leaves, EL, CL and casual leaves. I mean sick leaves. They have to clear sick leave and casual leave. Otherwise they will lose. It automatically go. So what happened? One side there is a target, sir. By December you have to finish this job. One time you have to enjoy the leaves. Otherwise leaves will go. So this is multi avoidance conflict management, madam.
Multi
Multi approach and
approach.
avoidance conflict management.
Okay.
And avoidance conflict. Correct, madam?
But can you
No,
rethink
is it
on
correct
that?
example?
It is approach and avoidance. Here you don't have multiple goals.
Okay.
Okay? You taking and goals, work will be affected. Okay, if at all you start working, you will lose your goals.
Yes.
Lose your leaves. So what is happening here?
Yes.
It is not multi-approach because it is between only 2 aspects. Here we are not working on multiple aspects. We don't have any choices. So now you decide whether it is avoidance, approach, or approach, avoidance.
You tell me.
Both of them are having negative impact. Yes. If you take leave, you can't do work.
Okay.
If you do the work, you can't take
Yes,
leave.
correct.
So both of them are resulting
correct.
in a negative balance. That is the first point.
Oh, negative. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So both of them are
Yes.
leaving you a negative balance, means it is avoidance to avoid.
Avoidance to avoidance. Okay. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Done, sir. So next comes the interpersonal conflict. So till now we have. Kindly mute yourself for your personal discussions. So here the interpersonal conflict is about, we have 2 types. Till now we have done with within ourselves, what is the conflict arising. Now with the other person. One is the functional conflict, the other one is dysfunctional. As the image clearly reflects, functional conflict means, though we have conflict, some innovative, creative or some best output is going to come out of that conflict. Suppose in office meeting, 4 members are sitting and having a brainstorming about some topic and decision making. So they will be keep on thinking and one will be contradicting the idea of other. And this way the things are happening, but a new inventory, new thought may invent a new kind of aspect and they may move further in their life. So that is called as functional conflicts. But dysfunctional conflict, the output will be 0. Dysfunctional conflict is like, the output would be 0. It would be only disturbing the functional relationships between 2 persons or between person and a group. Such kind of conflict is called as dysfunctional. It will not have any kind of productive output. So the productive output is called as functional conflict, and out of the conflict with no productive output will be there, that is called as dysfunctional. Done? That means totally no. Sir, your voice is very lagging. I don't know problem with my net or your net. I can't hear you.
No, dysfunctional conflict.
Dysfunctional conflict is like,
It means totally. No, in dysfunctional conflict, I mean there is no output. Correct, no? No
output. Only fights will be there, shoutings will be there, screamings will be there.
Okay.
Only impact the relationship. Because there is no purpose for that. They'll not work out any outcome. Ultimately, it ends with unproductive result. And coming to the functional conflict, they will thought for a betterment of an idea. They'll have a conflict with the other person because they have a better approach, than the other person. So because of that conflict state, both of them will come up with a good idea, better decision making. So it's never that like, two people don't have a conflict. Always they have a conflict, but because of that conflict, something better is happening that is called as functional conflict, and something it's waste of time and waste of energy and spoiling the relationship that is called as dysfunctional conflict. So kindly list out in your life how many functional conflicts are happening, how many dysfunctional conflicts are happening. Now, the conflict between Arjuna and Krishna is a functional or dysfunctional?
It's functional, madam.
It's functional.
Functional, ma'am.
Functional.
Exactly. So, do you think there is a conflict between Arjuna and Krishna?
Here, we cannot say it is conflict, but it is, but for betterment, it is a conflict.
No. There is a conflict.
It's not straight away.
See, what do you mean by conflict? It is they're struck with two different ideas. Krishna was insisting.
Okay.
Krishna was insisting, like, insisting on his primary dharma. And Arjuna was insisting on, like, what happens to my relations and what about my dynasty? So here what is happening? There is a conflict with both of their conversations because already Arjuna was started with intra-conflict. He himself is struck with a conflict between his both goals. He wants his family to be happy. He wants to perform his duty. But he's unable to do both of them. He was stuck in a conflict. What is happening now? He went and approached his mentor. But his mentor was guiding him. Then Arjuna is coming up with excuses. Like, what happens to my dynasty? What do people think about them? Do you think, like, I should fight for sake of money? So when these arguments are happening, it is a functional conflict because ultimately some kind of output is going to come that is resulting in the benefit of one person. So always in functional conflicts, the outcome will benefit either group of people, an individual person, or their relationship. That is called as functional conflict. So the conflict between Arjuna and Krishna was a functional conflict. And what we do in our life regularly is a dysfunctional. Though it goes in a functional track, we try to shift them that to a dysfunctional track. So list out what are the aspects. See, kindly mute yourself. So in our day-to-day life, what are the functional conflicts we undergo and what are the dysfunctional conflicts? Kindly list out them, then you will really understand where the problem is lying. Yes. Now, how to resolve this conflict? What could be the resolution for this conflict? Kindly, you can take pick of it or you can write. So, if at all a person is highly assertive and low cooperative, then what he do? He will compete. To resolve his conflict, if at all a person in nature is highly assertive and low in cooperative nature, he start competing and try to win it. If at all a person is low assertive and low cooperative, then he try to avoid the conflict. Done. If a person is highly assertive and highly cooperative, then he go with collaborating. Because it is going to result in the best of both the parties. So he'll go with collaborative option. But if at all a person is low assertive and high cooperative, then he accommodates the other person. So you have every role in your life, like a human being, a mother, a friend, a spouse, a sister, an employee. So each of the aspect, where do you put yourself? Whenever you get a conflict, where you will be in a competing mode, you will be in avoiding mode, you will be in accommodating mode, or you will be in a collaborating mode. Or when you balance all of these aspects, you will be compromising. Its balance of moderate of everything is compromise. So where do you usually stand? As a manager, what you are doing? Are you accommodating or are you competing? Or you are collaborating? What you are doing? Think.
Compromising.
You are compromising with whom? We are talking about interpersonal conflicts. It is with other person. So you are compromising with your management or you are compromising with your subordinate. Again, you need to have a clarity about it.
Yes.
Usually we may compromise with our management because we don't have any option there. Right?
Right.
So what could be the mechanisms for conflict resolution? First, we need to have a realistic goal setting. I need not explain much deeper about it. Realistic goal setting means Arjuna, after entering into battlefield, then why he got that conflict state? He knows already, like, Bhishmacharya, Dronacharya will be there in the battlefield earlier also. Then why he shocked and that conflict state is haunting him when he's on the battlefield? Because priorly he did not visualize nor plan exactly what is going to be the situation on the battlefield. If at all that realistic goal setting was done earlier, he would have not been in that confused state on the battlefield during when he's about to start the war. In the same way, analysis of conflict situation. Second important point is analysis of conflict situation. How you need to analyze your conflict situation. First, try to analyze whether it is intra or inter. Analyze it is intra or inter. Then the second important point is which type of conflict it is. You know types of intra conflict, you know types of interpersonal. So which type of conflict it is? Is it functional, dysfunctional, avoidance, approach? Which type of conflict it is? When you are keenly aware about what is the situation, then you can easily filter out what could be its solution also. So that is very important. The next is setting proper goal priorities. You can avoid conflict state by setting proper goal priorities. So how you can, if at all you take either that market and domestic needs example, or you take being a manager, convincing management or employees situation, you have to be clear with what is my goal. I need to be succeed as a good person. Like, if at all, like convincing employees is my first goal, or convincing management is my first goal. Because I want to be just a good person with my employees, my personal, instead of my job, the personal appreciation, what I get from the other people, the judgment of others is more important for me, or my job is more important for me. People forget while making a decision. When your job comes through a threat, you will not go with the judgment of people, right? So before coming to that situation itself, you need to set what is my first priority being in this particular state. Next is developing proper values and attitudes. If at all we develop proper values and attitudes, I did not say you, it comes to most of the conflict will be functional rather than dysfunctional, right? Developing an attitude of readiness to learn from experience and from others. This is very much important. Or else, like, once we learn from one kind of incident in our life, in future, that can help in many situations. But what we do is, we consider every new situation as a new state. So never you can overcome such situations. That is important. Planning one's life and setting up long-term goal, develop wider interest in life. So these are the different mechanisms for conflict resolution. And in the next session, I will talk about defensive conflict mechanism. This is very much important, and it helps for you to understand your children's also in a better way. Because where there's depression, psychosomatic problems, or psychological disorders, all these are popping up because of this defensive conflict mechanism. So we will talk about this in the next session. Until now, you have any queries, you want to share anything, you want to ask anything, please go ahead. Divakar garu navtunnaru. అర్థమై నవ్వుతున్నారా? అర్థం కాక నవ్వుతున్నారా?
No, it was very fast today.
ఈ రోజు క్లాస్ చాలా బాగుంది మేడం.
And a lot of the terminologies are related to the psychology. I may not be conversant
Today, no. All of them are general terminologies. Can you please ask me, like, which you felt?
I think I felt a lot of conflict in my mind.
Yeah, please, can you ask them? Like, we'll try to have a functional conflict now and resolve them.
Okay, I guess maybe there is a lot of hang inside that subconscious mind, having written that Gita means that spiritual aspect. Okay, so now we are approaching towards all the psychological aspects. So I keep on reading the Gita in a spiritual manner. So now this is entirely towards the psychological approach and resolving the conflicts and all. So the backlash is happening in my mind.
Okay.
So okay. So a lot of time I keep. So that is the one aspect. Anyhow, I'm trying to get resolved all those things. So the pace of understanding is a little bit slow. So comparison to the earlier sessions. Okay.
Actually, we all have gone through Bhagavad Gita as a spiritual book. But if we really read Bhagavad Gita, it's completely about the application.
Right.
First,
Yeah, you are showing that way to how to apply that.
Yes. So it is application. Krishna said, like, try to control your mind in this way, try to see the things in immediate way, like, give importance to your duties, prioritize them. So in this way, he started saying, so application is more important. So when it comes to application in our day-to-day life, what are the things that are bothering us? Are emotions.
Right.
Where do these emotions are popping up from? Our stress. Where do the stress is popping up from? The conflict state which we are going through.
Right.
And why do we are having a conflict in our life? Because we don't have priorities in our life. We don't know what we are supposed to do. So what we are supposed to do is our dharma. But as a human being, we'll always consider ourselves as a human being, and my dharma is being good to others. But we forgot we have many roles in our life. Life is a game, we have to play it. In the life, we have multiple roles. So multiple roles has multiple duties. As a father, as a friend, as a manager, as a teacher, okay, and as a husband, you have multiple roles to play. And every role has a duty. King has a dharma, husband has a dharma, son has a dharma. Best example is Ramayana. Rama, as a king, he prioritized as a Kshatriya, my primary dharma is to take care of kingdom, then comes my family. That was the reason he allowed Sita to go out of kingdom. Or else he would have not left Sita, right? But out of that conflict state, what was his first dharma? He have chosen that. But as a king, his first dharma is like, he need to consider entire people of the kingdom as his own children, and he need to take care of them. So what we have learned is duty. So as a husband, what he's supposed to do, as a son, what he's supposed to do. So what comes first is our duty. Once we are clear with our duties, then we will not have any conflicts.
Yeah.
When we don't have conflicts, we will not undergo stress. When we don't undergo stress, we will not have all these negative emotions which damage us internally, mentally, and physically. And do you think any other worst hell can be there apart from that?
No, all you covered, madam. All you have covered.
So hell, what happens? They say like, that warmness will be there. You will be like, in Garuda Purana, they'll teach how a soul is taken after the death. If you listen to that, just you're gone. So what are all those things? Do you think the negative emotions which is haunting us every day is not worse than that? We are going through all this pain. So to
Right.
overcome that, Krishna very technically explained, but unfortunately we are unable to take the essence from what Krishna taught us. So every day try to connect each sloka. How? What are my duties? What is my responsibility? What kind of conflict I'm going through? Done? Sir, hope, anytime you have any queries, kindly put that on paper and we will work out on
So
that.
up to 10th chapter, there is a dysfunctional conflict was happening between Arjuna and Krishna. Once
Dysfunctional.
he showed the Virata,
It is functional, I
functional
said,
conflict.
because end of the discussion they had outcome, right? But in dysfunctional conflict, there will be no outcome
Right.
at all. Bhagavad Gita is a functional only.
Right.
That's why Arjuna got motivated at the end of the Gita and he played his role. He performed his dharma.
No, up to 10th chapter, he was constantly debating with him.
So yeah, he was
kept on
constantly,
asking questions.
yes. So we will not wind up it in between, no. So we will consider it as a whole meeting. In a whole meeting, continuous conversation will give the end result. So we took
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita as a complete program of that meeting. So in that, like both the parties are having a conversation. At the end, the result was Arjuna got that knowledge.
All right.
So
But I
in
still
life,
have a
all
confusion
aspects
there.
are there. In life, all aspects are there. In Gita also, all aspects are covered. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Every aspect is covered. But very logically, step by step, he taught. Once you don't understand your duties, you cannot avoid anything else in the life. So first he asked us to learn what is your duty. Then he asked to perform the karma. Then he went perform the karma without expectation. Then he taught the jnana. Simply step by step he taught.
But he didn't listen until he shown the Virata Swarupa.
Yes, obviously, no. So for Arjuna itself, he took that much time. So for us, we need Krishna's blessing to enrich our mind and open our mind to learn, then apply.
Right.
So first thing is like, we need to be aware of self. We need to be open for learning. Then we can apply it. Apply, fall, then we'll succeed. It is a consistent practice. So,
Thank
done,
you.
sir. Anything else? Anyone have any other queries?
Very nice, madam. Actually, today we enjoyed wonderful session.
Thank
I have
you, sir.
undergone many trainings, madam, regarding the conflict management. Today is a very good conflict management class.
Thank you so much. It's because Krishna's session.
Hello, ma'am.
Because through you we are getting, no, thank you.
Hello, madam.
Yeah, ma'am. Please tell me.
Ma'am, you have given just now this assertiveness and cooperativeness, high, low, and all.
Yeah.
So, how to perceive this? I did not get. Can you please tell me once again? If highly low assertive and low cooperative, we avoid.
Yes.
Is it like that?
Exactly.
Then highly assertive and how it is competing, when it is competing?
Highly assertive and low cooperative.
Okay, like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Highly assertive, low cooperative.
Yes.
And highly assertive and high cooperative is collaborating.
Exactly.
And low assertive, high cooperative is accommodating.
Exactly. So we will give space for
Okay,
others. Yeah. Done.
Okay, then what is this compromising? This I did not get.
Everything
When
will be
we-
balanced. It's like not nothing is high or low. Everything is moderate. Then we'll compromise with each other.
Then we compromise. Okay. Thank you.
Shanti mantra. Sarvesham swastirbhavatu. Sarvesham santirbhavatu. Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Shanti.
Have a wonderful week. We catch up next week. Thank you all so much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.